Have you ever looked at world leaders and thought, are they actually the ones in charge? They give speeches, sign big papers, attend fancy meetings, but sometimes it feels like someone else is pulling the strings. We vote, we hope, we trust, but things just keep moving in the same direction. Whether it's a new president or prime minister, the system doesn't really change. So who's really running the show? In this video, we're counting down 10 things that point to something bigger behind world leaders. Stay with me, because by the end, you might start seeing power in a whole new way. 10. Leaders change, but the system stays the same. Every election season, we hear the same thing. This time will be different. A new leader promises to fix the economy, stop corruption, bring justice, and create a better future. And sure, people get hopeful. They vote, they rally, they believe. But once that leader takes office, not much really changes. The wealthy still hold on to their power. Big corporations keep growing. Everyday folks still struggle with taxes, inflation, and unfair systems. Wars drag on, and the same problems just keep showing up with different faces. It's not just about who's leading, it's about the system behind them. If nothing shifts no matter who wins, that means the real power isn't at the podium. It's behind the scenes, keeping things steady and making sure the game stays rigged. That's when we need to ask, who's really in control here? 9. Lobbyists have more influence than voters. Most people don't know how much power lobbyists have. These are people hired by big corporations to influence politicians. They meet with lawmakers, offer campaign donations, and push for policies that help their clients. Regular people might write emails or protest, but lobbyists are right there in the offices where decisions get made. It's no wonder some laws seem to favor big business over the public. If politicians are being influenced, more by lobbyists than voters, are they really representing the people? Wait, central banks run the economy world. Leaders talk a lot about managing the economy, but a lot of that power lies with central banks. These banks control the supply of money. They decide interest rates, print money, and even bail out huge companies when things go wrong. And here's the key part. Most central banks aren't controlled by elected officials. They're independent. So, if a group of unelected bankers can move markets, cause inflation, or fix financial crashes, they have serious power. Way more than most politicians. 7. Global institutions set the rules. Most people think their country's leaders make all the big decisions. But that's not always true. There are powerful global institutions like the International Monetary Fund, IMF, the World Bank, and the World Economic Forum that influence what entire nations can or can't do. These groups often step in to help countries in crisis, offering loans or financial aid. But that money comes with strings attached. In return, they usually demand changes, like cutting public spending, raising taxes, selling off government-run services, or rewriting important laws. These changes can deeply affect people's lives, from healthcare and education to job security. And here's the key part. Citizens don't vote for these institutions. They have no say in the deals their leaders sign. So, when leaders follow rules set by outside forces instead of their own people's needs, it's clear that the real power might not be in their hands at all. 6. Military and intelligence agencies act independently. You'd think world leaders control their military and intelligence services, right? Not always. In many cases, these agencies have their own power, their own secrets, and their own missions. They run operations that the public never hears about. They spy, plan, and sometimes even make warlike moves without public approval. There have even been cases where intelligence agencies worked against their own leaders or leaked info to change public opinion. If these groups can act on their own, who's really in charge? 5. The media doesn't always tell the whole truth. What we know about the world often comes from the media, but a lot of the biggest media companies are owned by a few rich people or corporations. That means they control what we see, hear, and think about. If a story is uncomfortable for those in power, it might not make the news at all. Or it might get spun in a way that protects the people at the top. Leaders can use media to build their image, distract from scandals, or push certain agendas. When media plays along, it helps hide the real power behind the scenes. 4. Secret. Meetings with no transparency every year. Powerful people gather at exclusive, invitation-only events like the Bilderberg Group or the World Economic Forum. These aren't just casual business meetups. They include heads of state, CEOs of major corporations, global bankers, and media moguls. What makes these gatherings so suspicious is the secrecy. There's no press allowed, no public minutes, and no official statements about what's discussed behind those closed doors. Organizers claim these are just informal talks, a space for open dialogue. But when the same influential figures attend year after year, and major global policies seem to line up afterward, it raises serious questions. If these people are just talking, why all the secrecy? And if world leaders are attending these meetings, who are they really listening to? The public or the elite in the room? It leaves many wondering if the real decisions are made away from the cameras, far from the people they're supposed to serve. 3. Surveillance and control through technology. With smartphones, social media, and smart devices, governments and tech companies now have more data on us than ever before. They know what we buy, who we talk to, what we watch, and even how we think. This data isn't just for advertising. It can be used to predict behavior, influence decisions, and control populations. If a government can use this information to silence dissent, spy on its citizens, or manipulate opinions, then power isn't about leadership. It's about control. And the ones controlling the tech might be more powerful than the ones on stage. 2. Corporations have more power than governments. Some corporations are richer than entire countries. They control food, medicine, water, energy, and the internet. They can pressure governments to pass certain laws, threaten to move jobs, or even shape education systems. And unlike politicians, CEOs don't need public approval. They're not elected, and they rarely face public questioning. Many of these companies fund political campaigns, support think tanks, and quietly shape public opinion. If a leader depends on corporate support to stay in office, who are they really working for? The people or the profits? 1. It's about control, not leadership. At the very top of the list is the most uncomfortable truth. Most world leaders today aren't actually leading. They're managing. Their real job isn't to fix broken systems or challenge the powerful. It's to keep things steady, quiet, and predictable. That means calming the public with nice speeches, making empty promises, and avoiding any real change that could upset those behind the scenes. When people rise up or demand justice, they're met with distraction or delay, not real action. The focus isn't on serving the people, it's about maintaining control. And here's the twist. The ones truly calling the shots aren't standing at podiums or running for office. They stay hidden behind corporations, banks, and elite circles. These shadow players never appear on a ballot, but they shape laws, economies, and global events. So when we ask who's in charge, the answer might not be the face on the news. It's the hands behind the curtain. So, what does this all mean? Maybe world leaders aren't as powerful as they look. Maybe the real power sits with those we never vote for. Lobbyists, bankers, corporate giants, and secretive groups that don't answer to the public. But here's the thing. The more we understand, the more power we take back. Awareness is the first step to change. If you found this video helpful or thought-provoking, give it a like. Share it with someone who needs to hear this. And hit that subscribe button for more content that questions the system. Until next time, stay curious, stay smart, and always ask who's really in control.